Ambassador Sarah Chen stood perfectly still as the Keth-Mori High Command's energy restraints hummed around her wrists. The alien council chamber stretched before her like a cathedral of malice, its obsidian walls carved with the conquests of 1,000 worlds. Bioluminescent veins pulsed through the stone, casting sickly green light across the assembled delegates who had come to witness what they believed would be humanity's final surrender. "You will sign the subjugation protocols," hissed Supreme Commander Vexthal, his segmented carapace gleaming as he leaned forward on his throne. "Your species will serve the Keth-Mori Empire as all others have before you." Sarah's expression remained diplomatically neutral, though inside she felt the familiar weight of her encrypted neural implant. The quantum entanglement communicator had been broadcasting everything back to Earth's strategic command for the past 6 hours. Every threat, every demand, every casual mention of the orbital bombardment platforms now surrounding Earth's moon. "I'm afraid that won't be possible," Sarah replied calmly, her voice echoing in the vast chamber. The assembled delegates erupted in chittering laughter. The Vorth representatives clicked their mandibles in amusement, while the crystalline necks high chimed their derision. Humanity was just another primitive species to them, remarkable only for their stubborn refusal to acknowledge the inevitable. "Perhaps you misunderstand your position, human." Vexthal rose from his throne, his forearms spreading wide. "Your world is surrounded. Your pitiful fleet of 300 vessels cowers behind your moon, afraid to engage our armada of 10,000 ships. You have no allies, no weapons that can pierce our shields, no hope." Sarah tilted her head slightly. "Actually, Commander, I think you're the one who misunderstands." She had volunteered for this mission knowing it was likely a one-way trip. The Keth-Mori had issued their ultimatum 3 days ago: send an ambassador to surrender, or watch Earth burn. What they didn't know was that humanity had been preparing for this conversation for 18 months. The first sign something was wrong came when the Keth-Mori communication arrays began experiencing interference. Vexthal's aide, a nervous creature called Terex, scuttled over with urgent clicking sounds. "Commander, we're receiving reports of irregularities in the outer systems." "What kind of irregularities?" Vexthal demanded, though his attention remained fixed on Sarah. "The human fleet. It's not behind their moon anymore, sir. It's gone." Sarah smiled for the first time since her arrival. "Oh, you're looking in the wrong place." The chamber's main display activated, showing the deployment of Keth-Mori forces throughout the Sol system. 10,000 ships in perfect formation surrounding what they believed was a trapped and helpless world. But as they watched, new contacts began appearing on the display. Not 300 ships, 3,000. Then 30,000. "Impossible," breathed Vexthal. "Our scouts confirmed. Your scouts saw exactly what we wanted them to see." Sarah interrupted. "Did you really think a species that developed quantum mechanics, genetic engineering, and artificial intelligence in less than 2 centuries would put all their ships in one predictable location?" The truth was elegant in its simplicity. Humanity's fleet had been a holographic projection masking the largest ship construction project in human history. While the Keth-Mori had spent 6 months positioning their forces, humanity had spent 18 months converting every mining platform, space station, and asteroid into a weapon of war. More contacts appeared on the display. The humans hadn't just hidden their ships. They had hidden entire fleets throughout the solar system. In the asteroid belt, behind Jupiter's moons, even within Saturn's rings. Stealth technology that made them invisible to Keth-Mori sensors, coupled with a patience that the aggressive Empire had failed to recognize. "You see," Sarah continued conversationally, "we studied your tactics. Every species you've conquered followed the same pattern. They tried to negotiate, they revealed their full military strength, and then they submitted when you demonstrated superior numbers. But humans, we have a different approach to warfare." Alerts began blaring throughout the Keth-Mori command ship. The human fleet wasn't just appearing, it was already firing. Kinetic kill vehicles launched months ago were arriving at Keth-Mori positions with pinpoint accuracy. Ships that had been drifting like debris suddenly activated, revealing themselves as hunter-killer craft that had been shadowing the alien fleet for days. "We call it total warfare," Sarah explained, as the first Kethmori vessels began disappearing from the display. "When humanity decides to fight, we don't just deploy our military. We deploy our entire civilization." The display showed the devastating truth. Every human cargo hauler had been retrofitted with weapons. Every civilian transport now carried boarding parties of enhanced soldiers. The Kethmori had surrounded Earth, but they had also positioned themselves exactly where humanity wanted them. Vexthal's throne cracked under the pressure of his grip. "This is impossible. No species has ever been humanity," Sarah finished. "We spent those 6 months you gave us converting every piece of human infrastructure into a weapon. Our freighters carry antimatter charges. Our mining ships have been fitted with mass drivers. Even our science vessels are now equipped with experimental weapons your people have never encountered." The battle, if it could be called that, was already over. The Kethmori fleet found itself surrounded, outgunned, and facing an enemy that had turned patience into a weapon. Ships that should have been civilians were revealing themselves as warships. Asteroids were launching themselves at Kethmori formations, revealing hollow cores packed with explosives. "But how?" Trex whispered, staring at the tactical display, in horror. Sarah's smile widened. "Because you made the classic mistake. You assumed we were like every other species you've conquered. But we're not. When humanity declares war, we don't just send our soldiers. We send our engineers, our scientists, our artists, our children's teachers. Everyone becomes part of the war effort." The final blow came when Earth itself revealed its true nature. What the Kethmori had believed was a planetary defense grid was actually the largest weapons platform ever constructed, built into the planet's orbital infrastructure over decades of preparation. "You wanted our surrender," Sarah said as the last Kethmori command ships went dark on the display. "But humanity declared war the moment you threatened us. We just didn't bother telling you until now." As her restraints deactivated, another human technology that had been quietly integrated into Kethmori systems, Sarah straightened her diplomatic jacket and smiled at the stunned aliens surrounding her. "Now then," she said pleasantly, "shall we discuss your surrender?" The age of human expansion had begun.